on the news that's just come out, I mean, sold out crowd, what does that mean to this group?
Oh, it's massive. We're super excited to obviously play our first game of the World Cup, but to be part of history is outstanding. You know, it's a fantastic event that New Zealand's put on for us, and the fact that the rest of New Zealand and the wider community have got together to get behind us is super exciting, and we're grateful for the opportunity.
It's been a long time coming for this group, man. Can we consider delays that happened in 2021? Can you sense that kind of anticipation growing just in this group to be like, right, let's just get out there and finally get this tournament underway?
Absolutely. We're working pretty hard since January, coming together as a group, and obviously through Pack 4, Laurie O'Reilly, lots of steps along the way to get us to this point, and the anticipation is palpable. The girls are really excited and have been working really hard for it, and just can't wait for Saturday.
And since that first camp for the Gold Coast in January, what do you think, from a coaching perspective, been the biggest sort of areas of growth you've seen in this side throughout that time?
Yeah, a big part of it has been combinations, the ability to play games together. So the girls obviously played Super W, but now then having opportunities to play through the Japan series, to play Pack 4 and then Laurie O'Reilly has allowed us then to grow as a team. Our skill sets improved, our game knowledge and understanding, and we're really proud against New Zealand and Adelaide for a chance to actually express ourselves and play the style of football that we've been trying all year.
You talk about, it's a sold out crowd. It's been kind of said by a couple of players and Jay yesterday that, the pressure's on them to perform. Do you think that can kind of free the girls up to really kind of play that expansive football that really worked, especially in that first half in Adelaide?
Well, we hope so, because if we can get a few things right early and put them under pressure, 50,000 people expecting the Black Ferns to come out with a result, it allows us then to put some stress on them, to ask them questions, and then we're pretty confident that if we get those things right, we'll be in a position to play well and create opportunities and hopefully score points out of that.
You touched on combinations before. You bring a new 12 in Shani Williams. Obviously, that's going to have its own kind of challenges, just pure gelling with a new 9 and 10. But how's she been sort of as an addition to this group, both on and off the field?
Well, Shani's outstanding. She's a great human being to start with, but then the experience she brings from 15s and 7s is another level. So she's been able to add to what we've already got. She works really hard at building combinations, at getting to know the girls around her. She played 7s with G-Fred before, and she's been around a long time watching Bella play. So having her in that 10, 12, 13 mix has been really positive.
I think Jay touched on yesterday that discipline's going to be such a big kind of work on. How do you look to try and implement that with basically a 2 or 3 month gap between that last game in Adelaide to now?
Well, a big part's just being about control, like controlling our controllables, making sure that we work hard to stay on side from that perspective, to work hard to clear the ruck and to take the referee out of the game. And if we can do that, we can improve our discipline level and give ourselves chances to hold the ball and play with a bit of freedom, as we spoke about.
And so what did you see that value of being able to test yourself against France last Saturday in that scrimmage game? What did you get out of facing a team which is, in red hot form and one of the key title contenders?
Oh, it was invaluable for us. As you said, we haven't played since Adelaide, so it gave us an opportunity to test ourselves against one of the best teams in the world. And what we got out of it was physicality, the line speed that they brought, and it gave us a chance then to make some adjustments to what we'll bring in this Saturday.
Talk about that physicality. I mean, you look at the games which the Wallaroos have done well against Black Ferns. It's started with Liz Pardu's run in Adelaide, set up B. Yep. Pardu, she scored in that first sort of 15-20 minutes. You go out to a 10-point lead. How important is it that just winning that physical battle early, just to take that crowd out of it and really kind of build that belief heading forward?
Yeah, it's one of our big rocks this week is to win the collisions. We really identified early, especially in that trial game against France, that when we were able to assert ourselves physically and get on the front foot, then we were able to play with that freedom. We were able to create opportunities on second, third phase, and it all comes down to winning the breakdown. So,
I mean, bringing Sarah back into the second row for a first start, is that kind of trying to address that physicality, and particularly also that set piece battle, which has been very consistent, to put it throughout that Pack 4 and O'Reilly Cup? Yeah,
a big part of Sarah's skill set is her ability in the line out. So definitely part of the asset that's been brought into the team. She works really hard around the field to get into good positions, and she's worked really hard on her ball carry and her physicality through contact. And we felt this week in particular she deserved her opportunity.
In terms of expectations to the side, is it firstly get to the quarterfinals and just go from there?
Absolutely. We feel pretty confident in our group that if we play well and we put ourselves in good positions, that we can get results. And then once we get to the quarterfinals, it's a whole new ball game.
Sweet, yeah, that's all for me.
Cool.
We're basically exactly 24 hours out. How exciting is it to finally be here with a game on the horizon?
So exciting. I feel like this World Cup has been such a big build-up. We've had, not only the 4-year cycle of a World Cup, but we've got that extra added bonus. And I think that, we've been in the system fighting since 2019, 2018, and to finally get the opportunity to be able to be on this world stage it's so exciting, and I feel like all the hard work is finally like ready to pay off.
So that moment when you found out that it's going to get pushed back 12 months, do you kind of remember where you were when it happened? What was the kind of emotions, particularly within your group, you know, a large New South Wales contingency, you probably sort of, I think it overlapped that Super W time, so you probably would have been all in camp around that time.
I remember it. Do you remember it?
Yeah. It was really disappointing. I mean, it was kind of during lockdown, so we were all in our state groups training pretty hard, and then our sort of warm-up matches got cancelled, and then we got the news that the World Cup was also cancelled, or pushed back, I mean. And yeah, it was just really disappointing that all that hard work that we had been building to was pushed out and extended another 12 months.
So how long did you take to be like, right, let's put this in the rearview mirror, let's retail our programs, get ready to go for it's been a packed 2022 in terms of warm-ups and build-up to this World Cup?
I think we gave ourselves a week. I think it was like find out information on like the Wednesday. We didn't train maybe the Monday, and then we were back in again on the Wednesday together in our pony squads, and it was just, I remember coming into the huddle together before the training session, and there were tears and there was like frustration, but then it was like, let's just get it all out here. We've got another job to do. And, you know, we worked through a lot of the COVID periods going, there's a 6-week block, we've just got to train hard, we've got a test match coming. Unfortunately, it's been cancelled. Another 6-week block. So we just broke it down into blocks, and that's the way we've sort of moved through this year as well. It was, we've got a camp in January, let's get through this camp in January, let's come together, let's gel. And then it was, we've got 2 test matches, let's play these 2 test matches, let's come together after Super W. Then we have a break, then we go again. You know, and that's sort of been the process. And I think the beauty of World Cup is it's another block. So we've worked up to today, and it's time to go for tomorrow. To
now be at that block, you know, when you've gone through, and when you hear that news, you know, COVID, you can't barely see, you know, 5 people in your house. To now be at the stage where, you know, a record for a World Cup game for women's, you know, I think it's double what New Zealand's had for any women's sporting event. What does that mean for this group to be in this position right now, and then the headline act essentially?
I think it's pretty special to be able to say that we're going to play in front of such a large crowd. And the support that we're getting behind women's sport is really, really special, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a celebration. It's such an exciting way for a culture in New Zealand who, you know, they live and breathe rugby, to have them being able to celebrate and support women's sport, and then women's rugby in turn and be a part of that it's so exciting to, you know how big the test matches have been over in the UK and the English girls playing with big crowds, but to turn around and be like, jokes, here it is. It's coming really for a game between Australia and New Zealand, and 2 countries that are so passionate and so rivaled in rugby. It's pretty exciting to be a part of it.
From a player's perspective, does it almost feel like a home World Cup? I mean, it's the closest it's ever been being the first one in the Southern Hemisphere. Like, absolutely not.
I wish.
It's so close, and I think the beauty of it is that we get to have our family and friends travel for a smaller distance. It doesn't make it any cheaper, but it is a more accessible World Cup for our family and supporters. The time zone's right for our crowds back home to be able to like tune in and watch on Stan. But ultimately, we're in a blackout. Like we're in Kiwi land, and we need to respect that. But that doesn't make it any less of an exciting battle.
When you consider, yeah, as you said, it's probably going to be 95% black when you run out there. Do you look for those smidgens of gold you see in the crowd? Is it the type of thing you just try and just block out and be like, all we have to focus on is what's in front of us? How do you approach that?
100%. I mean, most of us have family that have come over, so I'm sure we'll all be looking out for them in the crowd. But most of all, just looking out for each other and kind of blocking out the crowd and just listening to each other and working off each other, I think.
I think Illy said it perfectly yesterday. The grass is grass, the posts are posts, the lines are lines. It's another game of rugby. It doesn't really matter what the crowd's doing. We're there to play a game of rugby that we know how to play, so we're just going to go focus on that.
It's a great attitude to have, and I mean, being in that kind of environment, do you think you can potentially strengthen the bond of this team and really kind of get the best out of this squad with all the expectations on the Black Ferns to perform from a home crowd?
Yeah, our focus is play rugby. You know, that once we get on the field, we know what our job is. We've done it 100 times before. We're dinosaurs in the game. We know what we're doing. So we've got the experience with us. We're just going to focus on our job and, you know, reacting to what's put in front of us. The crowd is an exciting thing, and I think we felt it in the Super W game when we played against Fijiana, where from New South Wales perspective, the crowd was subdued when we were in control of the ball. So when we're in control of the pace of the game, I imagine the crowd's noise will be subdued. So we have a problem when we can hear them. And that just is a signal that we've got to work harder because there's something that's gone wrong or right for New Zealand. So for us, the more we can keep the crowd at bay, the better. And for them, if we hear the noise, we know we've got to work hard.
Is that something you can train? You know, I think the Kiwis in their captain run today we're piping in crowd noise to kind of get used to it. Do you work on a system where it's not relying on having people having just shout out calls, and you can kind of sort of still effectively communicate with like with all the noise going for the Kiwis and trying to really put you off?
I think we touched on it yesterday. We kind of spoke about what sort of strategies we could work on just if we can't physically hear each other. And yeah, we went through that, and hopefully we can put those processes into play tomorrow. But like Emily said, hopefully we can keep the crowd at bay and that won't be necessary.
I guess finally, just for Jay, I mean, Shani coming back in, that combination with her, you know, how do you is that really just picked up where you left off from that time in the sevens?
Yeah.
And what does she kind of bring to this group?
Yeah, it's like getting the band back together, I think. I think, yeah, it's pretty comforting to know that Shani has so much experience and knowledge in the game to, you know, she keep calm and collected under pressure, and she's been on those big stages, so to be able to feed off her energy would be good.